Hey YouTube, once again, it is April 12th, 2017. We have a very action-packed episode today. Lots to discuss. Some things I was wanting to add into the last video, but I forgot about. So we'll go ahead and add them into this one. There's kind of a couple major, what I would say, theories. Some might say they're conspiratorial or whatnot, but there are two things that I think that are very important to start to understand and start to see. And so that's what this video is going to be about. I hope that you enjoy it. Peace and one love. So first thing I think is pretty incredible that we're starting to see really concretely for the first time is what I would like to call the Americano-Sino Alliance and the United States-Chinese Alliance. It's very much being seen and coming into fruition at this moment. And I question how long has it actually been in place. I know that basically after the Japanese invaded China pre-World War II, there was a lot of American assistance and power that be assistance that came in to help the Chinese eventually fight off the Japanese. But has this alliance been going on for that long? Or, I know that everyone thinks that Russia and China are really allied, but why is it that the United States and China is the one that's meeting up? Why is it not Russia and China? And so basically it's very easy to see at this moment. We just had a meeting last week between Trump and Xi. And so just last night, they're kind of both going towards Korea at the same time. Just last night, Trump called up Xi in the middle of the night and woke him up and said, hey, wait a minute. Maybe we don't want to go down this alley with North Korea. So how long has this alliance been going on? I mean, yes, the United States and China are very reliant on each other. Both of them are in high amounts of debt. It's basically a dual polar world between China and the United States at the moment. They have $33 to $35 trillion in debt. We have $20 trillion in debt. They're sort of the producer for our consumerist nature. Sort of that role is starting to be switched a little bit, that the United States is going to become more of the manufacturer and China is sort of moving into this consumerist role. But you have that total control of this communist system in China where people are afraid to speak out, and yet we can still speak out to a certain extent, but we have our own issues. And so this is very strange, this alliance that's being very easily seen. I think if there's some type of a simultaneous attack on North Korea between the United States and China, it'll be very easy and prevalent to see. Imagine World War II. To spread the blame of World War II, Germany and Japan were allied. And so there was so much confusion going on at the time, and you had these two, a Western and an Eastern nation that were completely allied, that it seems very similar to what's going on in this potential World War III type scenario, where you have the United States and China both kind of doing their own thing and trying to control things in an allied way. And so if this goes forward, if they attack Syria, if they attack North Korea, if they eventually can combine with, say, Turkey to go into Russia, then this is something that we need to be very aware of from this moment forward, because I have not really heard of an official USA-China alliance, but it seems like this has been in place for a while. The second major thing that I want to talk about in this video is what I see is a possibility occurring with North Korea at this moment. And so in World War II, if you think about it for just a small amount of time, it's quite easy to see that Pearl Harbor was a false flag attack against the United States to draw us into that war. So we had all of our ships in one area, we had all of our aircraft carriers going all around. Don't you think that we would have had plane patrols, ship patrols, radio reports about Japanese movements all throughout the Pacific, all throughout Hawaii? Do you think that's just gross incompetence? Or do you think that the United States military actually wanted that to occur, to get the people support to go into that war? Well, that's the way that I believe that it happened. You can debate me on it or not, but that's just the way that I see it. And now it looks like that is going to be the same thing that happens with North Korea. That North Korea has actually been given these nuclear missiles, given these ballistic missiles, in order to basically have the biggest false flag attack of all time. No joke. They could bomb Japan, they could bomb China, they could send a nuke all the way to the United States, Heck, even at this moment, if a nuke goes off anywhere in the United States, they're going to blame North Korea automatically because they're already aggressive like that. But I'm saying that just like Japanese brought us into World War II, North Korea is being set up to bring us into World War III. We need to be very, very wary of it. Because if it happens, then there's no turning back from that point. There's going to be millions of people that die in North Korea. There's going to be perhaps millions of people that die in the United States, in China, all of these places. And if that happens, there's no turning back. So we have to be ahead of the game. We have to see their plan before it takes place. Understand what happened in World War II. Understand what happened in 9/11. If it can happen in those times, it can happen again. So we have to be very careful about North Korea launching a nuclear weapon, but us letting it happen. We have missile defense in South Korea. We have missile defense. The Chinese have missile defense. We have missile defense in our armadas. And so if any type of a missile makes it over all of this missile defense, then you can tell that they're trying to allow it to happen to get us into a protracted war. I very much hope this doesn't happen. Trump just called up Xi Jinping last night and said, hey buddy, maybe we shouldn't do this. I think that they ultimately can solve all of this through diplomacy. And I ask myself, what do the North Koreans want? Why is nobody just asking Kim Jong and the North Koreans, what do you want? What can we provide you to give up your nuclear weapons? What can we provide you to make you happy? I believe that North Korea just wants what anybody else would want, which is to come into the modern world, to have a reconciliation with their South Korean brothers and sisters. We should let that happen. We should bring them together. For 20 years or longer, they have wanted to meet, to have negotiations, to talk about how they can bring their country back together. But the United States administration and Western administrations have not wanted that to happen. I would say that it goes as far as using North Korea or preparing them as a puppet to launch this false flag nuclear weapon. That sounds a little bit crazy, but I do believe that that is what's going on. And so Trump and Jinping, go to North Korea. This could be your tear down this wall moment, just like Reagan was with the Soviet Union. Make this your tear down the wall, tear down the demilitarization zone of North and South Korea and bring these people together. Reunite Korea. This is what you can do. I think back to Hiro Onoda, who was a Japanese soldier in the Philippine Islands after World War II. He stayed in the Philippines for 29 years holding down his area. And it wasn't until 29 years later that they told him the war was not going on any longer. I think that North Korea is just a macrocosm of this. That basically they've been stuck in this war mentality because the war was never finished. There was never a treaty. There was only a truce that was signed. And so basically they're stuck in this very small place. The information is very controlled. And so honestly, there might be a lot of people thinking there, oh, the war's still going on, not knowing that everybody else is moving on beyond them. And so Trump and Xi go to North Korea, bring North Korea into the modern world, figure out how to do this, exhaust all diplomatic energies. There's no need to bomb this country. There's no need to invade this country. You just need to bring North and South Korea to the table together. You can do it. I believe in you. You can do it, Trump. You can do it, Xi. Do what's best for the world. Do what's best for the Koreans. Do what's best for the Middle East. Do what's best for the Japanese. Show that you mean peace. You can do this. Do not listen to the neocons that are whispering in your ear, Trump. Do not listen to your daughter who's coming around saying she's heartbroken from seeing these images on the TV. We didn't elect Ivanka. I think she's a great and wonderful person, but you shouldn't allow that to override your decision-making skills. Bring peace. You don't need to go to war. I trust that you can do it. I'm excited for what's going on, but we don't need World War III. You can do it. Tear down this wall. Tear down the Korean wall. Break up the demilitarization zone. You can do it. Last couple things I wanted to say is that the one big piece of news came out this morning that Ahmadinejad is going to run again in the Iranian elections coming up next month. This is sort of a last-minute decision. I think it could have huge reverberations in the Middle East. This is a person that used to ride his own car to work for 8 years straight. After work, he took the bus to work for 4 years. We just do not have this type of humbleness in our modern leadership. And I remember watching a lot of his speeches back in the day. I thought he was a very practical thinker, so I'm very excited about it. Last thing I would like to say is thank you to my good friend Tanya for sending me those wonderful gifts, the Viking beads and the Viking braid and those other things. So thank you so much for that. I will gladly accept gifts all the time. And so, yeah. Okay, that's all of the video for today. Thanks for coming back once again and seeing one of these Saducasts. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope that you would subscribe and perhaps share this link. A couple big conspiracy type things with the Chinese-US alliance with North Korea. I think we just have to ask them, what do you want? Why isn't anybody doing that? What do you want, North Korea? Do that and you'll figure out we can solve this problem. So thanks. Have a wonderful week. God bless and peace. 808.